All right, back with another live stream. So, Christmas is coming, the turkey's getting fat. Please put a penny in the old man's hat. So, long story short, I did a live stream, what was it, just a few days ago, but I'm going to be taking off to Montana in the near future, and I'm going to be gone for basically the end of December and into a good portion of January. So, I was like, you know what? I got some time. Just going to talk about a few things. Today was a very good day. Soulfinder Infinite Ascent hardcovers completely 100% paid for. Printer is good to go. We had the silver gilding being put on the books yesterday, and I think today they were being bound, so that was good. And basically, the books will be done within the next day or two. I don't know. I know it's before Christmas, and I talked to them and I was like, hey, can you have them overnight me some hardcovers? I kind of wanted to send out a couple Christmas presents to people. I mean, even if you don't get it by Christmas, if I could mail a book or two out before I leave for Montana, then that would be cool. So we'll see. I don't know how many I'm going to be able to get from them. I would like them to send me like a handful, but we'll see. Brett Palmer, thanks for tuning in. I'm assuming you could hear me all right, so that's good. Says, what's up, Doug? I'm excited for those hardcovers, brother. Yeah, it's been a long time coming, and again, I just really wanted to do a live stream and let people know the hardcovers are completely paid for. They are printed. The silver gilding has been put on, and they're probably putting the ribbons in now. That's like probably the last thing, and they got to pack them up. But again, I told them, hey, once you get, when they're finished, just grab a couple off the line and just overnight them to me. And we'll see how that goes. So hopefully, maybe Christmas Eve, I will get some hardcover editions of Soulfinder Infinite Ascent. And, not Christmas Day, but, with the next couple days after that, I'll be able to send out a Doug Prize to one or two people that have been longtime supporters. So they'll just get a book, a hardcover out of nowhere. They weren't expecting it. So that was my plan anyway. The dream scenario would have been able to get hardcovers today, and then I could overnight them to a couple people who have purchased all the books over the years and been there and all that sort of stuff. So that would have been a cool Christmas present. But, it's not a perfect world, but I'm trying my best to, I don't know, do some good things for the longtime supporters of the books. So Neostar Productions, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate that. So yeah, it's been a good 2022 all around. And how do I say this? I want to try and just be factual in sort of, I don't want to say put some people in their place or whatnot, but this year so the thing is with Soulfinder is, how do I say this? This riles some people up. It rankles some feathers with people when you say this, but here's the deal. I paid for these books out of my own pocket. I did not take a dime from any of the readers up front. I didn't ask people. I did not do the crowdfunding thing. Again, I've said before, crowdfunding, there is a place for it. I'm not against it in principle by any means, but at the same time, I think it is a selling point that I am not going to take off the table, that I take on the risks for these books. And it is a lot of risk. So especially if you're not going on Kickstarter, you're not going on Indiegogo, and you're asking people to go directly to Iconic Comics, I mean, that again, you are taking on a lot of risk. But the upside for readers like Brett Palmer, like Neostar Productions, and others is that they can just get the book. They could order it on a Monday, and as happened with the Saddle Stitch earlier this year, there was people that ordered during the week, we'll just say a Wednesday, and some of them actually like that day or within 24 hours they had a tracking number and the book was there within like something like 48 hours if they were close enough. in Texas and Arizona and some of those states that, like they're close by one another. So that is the upside. I try to put myself into the shoes of the reader and what they want. I started as a consumer advocate years ago, and I've said before, my heart is always with the readers, the customer. I'm trying to do my best for them. And sometimes when you talk about this sort of stuff, you get other creators uh, who get annoyed because you have people that are like, hey, if I got my book, in 48 hours from the iconic guys, like, why can't you do it? And then they get upset and all this sort of stuff. It causes problems. So the rule is I'm not supposed to be able to talk about what sets either Iconic Comics as a whole or the team Soulfinder, what sets Iconic apart from others. And again, it's just everything has pluses and minuses to it. There's trade-offs with anything. But typically I try and do a trade-off that benefits the reader, benefits the person that wants their book when they want it. They want it now. They want it. They don't want to forget about it. They don't want to order it and then it shows up months and months or maybe years later and they're like, oh wow, I totally forgot that I even wanted this book. I don't even know if I want to read it anymore. I'm a different person now. There's been a pandemic. I got other things going on in my life. So again, the books paid for in full with my own money. There's people earlier this year that saying that Phantom Books, this guy, because we don't know the numbers, we don't know if he's actually selling books. We don't know. He's just saying maybe they don't exist. Like just essentially bizarro things. So again, 1,200 hardcover books paid for. Deposit was due November 19th, paid. Balance due on December 22nd. Today is the 21st. Paid in full. So this year, 3,600 Soulfinder books were printed. That was 1,200 Saddle Stitch, Infinite Ascent, 1,200 Warcry, Saddle Stitch, and now 1,200 hardcover. And we are selling them. They are the Saddle Stitch have been selling at Iconic Comics just fine. Now, again, because people know that they can just go, get them whenever they want, you don't always get people that are like, oh, you have to get it within this window, this 30-day window, or else. They know that they have time. So the deal with the Soulfinder books is that it's essentially the stream of sales is smaller, but spread out over the course over the year, it's perfectly fine. And so I'm happy with that. Again, I'm trying to put myself in the reader's shoes. What do they want? Oh, I got Christmas shopping going on. You know what? I gotta buy something for my mom, and my mom's not gonna want Soulfinder, so I'm gonna buy something for mom for Christmas, and then maybe I'll get some money from Uncle Kevin or something like that, and then I'll get Soulfinder in the new year or something along those lines. I don't know. But nope, they're not phantom books. They are being printed. The people, I got some critics out there. They're like, oh, Doug Ernst is a fraud. Doug Ernst is a phony. And blah, 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 blah. Really? Because the track record suggests that I'm printing my books. I'm selling my books. People like the stories. People like the art. So, hate to rain on your parade, critics, but Soulfinder is doing just fine. And Volume 4 is on its way. Let's see. Tenacious 222 is here. Thanks for tuning in. It's McGee is here. Hello. And Captain Cummings is here. Nice to see you. Merry Christmas, man, if I don't talk to you. I know that you are 007, maybe not 007, but you are off in defense of the country all over the globe doing your stuff, deployed places. And so thank you for that. Thank you, as always, for your service. And stay safe wherever you are. So, all right. So that was the main point that I just wanted to get across is if you want the hardcovers, you've been waiting. That's the other thing is I put out the saddle stitch and people were like, you know what? Saddle stitch is cool, but I'm waiting for the hardcover. I want the silver gilded pages. I want the ribbons. I want all that. I want the bonus art. And so that's fine too. I'm just giving people different options. They want the digital option. There you go. Amazon Kindles for you. And pretty soon, I'm going to have the Spanish translations done, and I'm going to have the Japanese translations done. Actually, there was a guy just before I came on here, and he is in Brazil, and there's a Brazilian radio station that wants to do an interview about Soulfinder. And he's like, hey, whenever you want to get this set up, then let me know. And then at first I was like, yeah, let's do it anytime, whatever. But then I was like, oh, wait a second. I should have the Spanish translations done pretty soon. So let me get up the digital version of Demon's Match in Spanish, and then I'll get with you. So that way we can do Brazilian radio or whatever you want to do, and can literally point people to Volume 1 in Spanish. I think that would do well instead of telling Brazilians to get the English version and who knows what. But so those are the things we're working on. Actually, here's a story. So I got to be careful how I say this because I don't know what'll happen and it's Christmas and maybe. So there was somebody who works for a major news organization and he knows about Soulfinder. And he reached out to me and he tagged me with somebody else at this major news organization who is like higher up on the totem pole at this particular place. And he was telling the guy, he's like, hey, I know you're writing about comics and how Kickstarter kicked Private American off of off of the platform or whatever, the Mike Barron book. And there's these guys at Iconic Comics, and they're doing really well, and they don't have quote unquote woke comics. They just have like really good stories. So I think that you should consider like writing up something on these guys. So I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like I wasn't even expecting this, and I was just like, you never know who's reading your stuff, who's thinking about you, all this sort of stuff. Anyway, so the guy who's higher up on the totem pole, at least as of now, was just like radio silence. So I'm thinking in my head, I was like, oh, that's really interesting. So basically, you don't want a story about guys that are just doing books and doing well, doing books that are not quote unquote woke. You only want to cover it if there's some sort of like controversy involved. That's the only way that you're going to cover. Again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm speaking too soon. Maybe it's too close to Christmas. Maybe this guy will get back to me. But it's been 48 hours, and another person within this organization like reached out to him, and we were both copied on this. And he's like, "Hey, no, I think this would be like a really good follow up." Blah 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 blah, and nothing. So I'm just kind of laughing because it's like some of these guys are so predictable, and it's frustrating to me because I was telling my wife, I was like, I guarantee you, I could make a Kickstarter campaign for Soulfinder that is controversial. I can easily do that and then get myself kicked off of Kickstarter or whatever. I'm not saying that the Private American guys did that. Please don't misconstrue what I'm saying here. I'm just saying, like, it's funny how somebody within a major news organization can have a coworker or peer or whatever you want to call them say like, hey, I think this would be like a really cool story. These guys are showing how you can do it, and essentially just do an end around all the activists and the gatekeepers or whatever. I think that would be a really good story. And then the person with the authority to do the story is just like, they're like just like quiet. They're not saying anything, and you're just like, aha, I see. All right, well, I guess if I cause trouble, or if I cause some sort of controversy and I could blame it, I could become a victim, then you will do a story on Soulfinder. Apparently that's the case. But again, I don't care. We're doing fine without it, but it was just out of the blue. I was totally not expecting to get this email. It was very, very kind for the person who works there to even be thinking about me. And like, so that was like cool. Again, totally unexpected. I appreciate it. Very grateful that somebody who is aware of iconic comics would even, try to broach the subject with a peer. But I don't know. So we'll see what happens. But again, I worked in media for a long time, and I know how a lot of these people work. They are always after clicks, they're always after controversy, and a lot of times they're going for low-hanging fruit. They want butting heads, they want right versus left. If it's just a good news story about people that are just doing good stuff, like they're like, that's not good, that's not going to get us clicks. We need the clicks. That's what we need. So that's another one of many reasons why I soured on corporate media and didn't want anything to do with it, because yeah, they just really want people angry at each other a lot of times. Rick is here, says, big ups, Doug. I hope you and your family have a Merry Christmas. Thank you. Merry Christmas to you as well. $4.99 super chat. That will be recycled into the channel. I don't even know when the last time I ever even cashed out. I barely ever get super chats. I don't really encourage them for a number of reasons. When I get them, I'm very grateful for that. Eventually, I will cash it out. I will, Doug prizes. Like I said, the hardcovers that are going out. I just, I've sent out plenty of Doug prizes in 2022, and I just see it as like all the shipping costs and all of that sort of stuff. It basically replenishes that. So thank you, Rick, for that, and Merry Christmas. So, all right, let's see what else we got here. Boop, 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 boop. Bam. Little late night Weldon. Speaking of Team Soulfinder. So here's the thing. How do I say this? So some people have been asking me about this. How do I say it? The truth, justice, and the American way situation. I don't know how many of you know about. I'm assuming most of you know about the controversy involving this and the artist, and I got to be careful what I say here, because I don't want to get myself embroiled in controversy. You got people throwing out legal threats left and right. So anyway, so I was like, I've been asked about this, and from now on, unless it's somebody like Captain Cummings, who I've known for years, I'm not going to get involved in this stuff in DMs, because I don't want people taking me out of context. I don't want people accusing me of stupid, moronic conspiracies. Don't trust pretty much anybody outside of my own team. But I will say this. So I am so grateful that I get to work with Matt Weldon. I'm so grateful that I got to work with Timothy Lim, both on Demon's Match, and he's helped me out logistically over the years, and now with the crossover. Here's the deal. When it comes to contract disputes or anything like that, I'm really not the guy to ask, because I've literally never written up a contract for myself and Timothy Lim. Never written up a contract for anyone who's colored the books, the Soulfinder books. Brett R. Smith, Wes Hartman, Jean-Francois, any of those guys, no contracts. Matt Weldon, no contracts. Jeff Spokes, no contracts. Dave Dorman, no contracts. It's an on your honor, gentleman's agreement sort of thing. Hey, do you want to do this? Here's the deal. I'll pay you this much. And then, assuming I make back X amount of money, then from there on, then this is what we'll, do, blah, 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 blah. And it's always worked out. It's worked out perfectly fine. I've never gotten in a fight with money with Timothy Lim. Tim and I have never had any money. And a lot of money has exchanged hands between us, between me and Matt and all this. and we've literally never had a problem. So I am not the guy to ask about contract disputes and what people should do and this and that, because I try to surround myself with guys where it's just like, hey man, let's just be men of our word. Let's just be good dudes. Let's just be honest and truthful with each other. Let's just have integrity and just do the right thing by the other guy. And if there are ever any questions, we'll just talk about it and we'll figure out what we got to do to keep the train rolling and on the tracks and make sure everything's good and everyone's happy and everyone's psyched about doing the work and coming back for another Soulfinder or doing another crossover or whatever. So I said before, I am blessed that I get to be in a working situation and friendships with guys like Matt and Mark Pellegrini and Tim and all these guys, because they've just been men of their words. And so I don't really have too much to say about these other guys and what's going on with them. But I thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for Matt Weldon and Timothy Lim, because it could have been, who knows? There is, well, some people know the secret history of Soulfinder, and people that were pitched Soulfinder and people that turned it, essentially what would become Soulfinder, and turned it down and said, quote unquote, I'll pass and all that sort of stuff. Blessing in disguise. Got to work with Timothy Lim. Tim was the right man for the job. God knows much more than I do who should be on these books. And it was Timothy Lim. And Tim and Mark and getting them involved, and then Matt Weldon and all these guys. So just been blessed. Let's see. Neo Star Productions, Cool Beans. The artist for my Riserman books is from Brazil. Oh, very cool. Well, Brazil's got a lot of stuff going on right now. I feel bad for them. I don't know what's going to happen. They have all sorts of upheaval. Let's see. Neo Star Productions, understandable. Fug. I guess that was a typo. I hope it was a typo. Effing Doug. Fug. Too many people are trying to profit from the rampant tribalism these days. Yeah, you say one wrong thing and you stir up a hornet's nest and all of that sort of, even just saying, thank God for Matt Weldon. People are going to be like, oh, there's somebody will be upset out there. Somebody's going to listen to a clip here and they're going to be ticked off that, there's like, you're rubbing salt in the wounds by talking about how great Matt Weldon is. Well, that's weird. Is the rule now that I'm not allowed to even praise my own creative team? I don't know. So I can totally see that after the year that I have experienced, people taking praise for Matt Weldon as a shot at another artist. That's how the thin skin that people have. They're so on edge. They're so insecure that praising Matt Weldon is tearing somebody down. Brett Palmer, gentleman's agreement. Keyword gentleman. Matt Weldon is a gentleman. I wish I could tell you just how much of a gentleman he is. But that actually would cause problems. Some inside baseball stuff and all sorts of, but Matt is a true gentleman. Let's see what we got here. Oh, that's what I was going to say. So, well, speaking of that, so there was like somebody that commented on Soulfinder here. Soulfinder is literally one of the greatest contemporary indie comic book series containing consistently beautiful art and well-crafted stories. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So then I said, I can't say enough good things about Matt. It's been an absolute joy to work with him for the past couple of years. One day I'll be able to fully discuss what sets him apart from so many others. He's really a really good man. Now this comment was, what sets him apart is clearly evident in his work. Cheers to the entire Soulfinder team, including the inimitable Dave Dorman. Well done, Douglas. Well, thank you. Now, the one thing I will say with this comment here, what sets him apart is clearly evident in his work. You can't see integrity The integrity is invisible. That has nothing to do with his artwork. Matt is clearly a very talented and hardworking man, but you can't see his integrity. And you need someone else outside who witnessed it firsthand up front to say, no, man, this guy, he's got that thing that you can't see, and that's integrity, the virtue of integrity. And that is what I want to talk about. That's what sets Matt apart. I mean, his talent as an artist for sure, but the integrity part is huge, because there's a lot of guys in indie comics, they don't have integrity. So and if you find yourself getting upset at that comment, then you might have a telltale heart situation going on. You might have a guilty conscience. So let's see, got some Christmas presents here. You know who else has integrity? Eric Canetti. Eric Canetti is a very solid dude. And one day, with Eric's permission, probably far down the road, I'll be able to tell exactly why Eric Canetti is such a good dude in detail. But now is not the right time. I don't know when will be a right time. But Eric has been a solid dude and a good friend. And I totally respect him as well, because I'll keep it vague. There are people out there that don't like me, and they were not shy about letting Eric know that this year, and Eric never wavered in terms of just being a good dude and not throwing me under the bus and coming to me and talking to me like a professional adult when there was all sorts of lies bouncing off the walls like super balls in a spaceship this summer. So he was a super cool guy, and I can't thank him enough for that. And let's see what else we got here. All right, any other comic stuff? Boom, we got that taken care of. Talked about Matt. I can talk about James Gunn. I can talk about get into a little politics. I don't know. We'll see. See here. There was something else I was going to talk about. Oh, Timothy Lim. Oh yeah, and Warcry as well. Now, if you got Soulfinder Infinite Ascent, I keep saying this. Somebody else contacted me the other day. If you got Infinite Ascent Saddle Stitch version, do not hesitate to reach out to me and show me proof of purchase, and I will send you Soulfinder Warcry. And you will see. It is a short story, but hopefully I've got the substance in there. Takes place at Arlington Cemetery. Gorgeous work by Matt Weldon. Incredibly touching work by Matt Weldon. I will send you that. And eventually, I'm thinking when I get the hardcover on the Iconic Comics website, people that get the hardcover, I will just give you the Saddle Stitch Warcry for free with that. Something along those lines. But if you already got the Saddle Stitch Infinite Ascent, hit me up, either Twitter or Douglas Ernst at douglasernst.blog, and I will get you your copy of Warcry. Brett Palmer, Matt Weldon is awesome. My point was to work together without a contract. Takes a gentleman's agreement, and there ain't many people left in this business who are gentlemen. Oh yeah, no, I totally got what you were saying. You can't do that with a lot of people, and I try and surround myself with guys where you can do that, because I don't want to be in a situation where going the lawsuit route is 99% of the time a failure, or it's just bad, because lawyers make a lot of money, and for the most part it drains your energy, it drains your it's time that you can never get back. Your focus is you're always distracted if you're trying to do books, but you got a lawsuit just looming over your head like a storm cloud and all of this sort of stuff. You don't want to be involved in a lawsuit if you could avoid it. You only want to go if, in my mind, if people leave you no other choice, or if it's just such a matter of principle where you're like, this mother, I know I'm right. I am 100%. This is not even a bet. This is not even a gamble. I got the goods, and I want the world to know that this person is a liar. Maybe you want to go that route. But for the most part, if you can just put it behind you and move on and wipe your hands of certain individuals, that's the way that you want to go. And to me, if someone burns me, like, so years ago, before I was even into indie comics, there was an artist who basically burned me. He always said the right things, but he basically screwed me over out of like thousands of dollars. And it was just like, you know what? I'm wiping my hands of this guy. I don't want anything to do with him. Like, you're gone. Bye. I'll take it. I'll eat the loss and just move on. And that sucked. And then years later, when I started doing Demons Match, the guy came out of the woodwork and he's like, hey man, I really want to do that piece that I said, I would do for you. And I was like, what? I'm thinking, I'm like, what? It's like years later. Why is this guy like coming? This doesn't even make any sense. I was like, no, man, I basically just said, it's over. Like, it's fine, whatever. It's done. And he's like, no, I really want to do it, man. I really want to do the piece. I was like, fine, do the piece then. Fine. And then he never did the piece again, this guy. So I was like, what? Like, some of these artists are just so freaking weird. You're like, what? But again, Tim and Matt and Jeff Spokes, these guys are on the ball. They're super sharp and super talented and just like good dudes. And I really like working with them. Let's see, Neostar Productions. Wow, now that you mention it, I really don't engage with people as much. I used to. I steer clear of drama, but I shouldn't avoid casual conversation. All right, let's see. We got this out of the way. Boom. And let's see. I think that's all the Soulfinder stuff for now. And I figured I could talk about James Gunn a little bit. Maybe a little politics. I haven't for a while. I've kind of steered clear of that. But so here's the thing. I'm not a DC guy. People know that I've never been a huge DC guy. I do historically like a lot of what Zack Snyder does. But I'm not like, I don't idolize him by any stretch of the imagination. But when 300 first came out, that was super cool. And then he did Dawn of the Dead remake or whatever it was. Like, that was actually, I don't even like horror movies. But like that was pretty cool. So that was good. But so here's the thing for me. You come into this, I feel so bad for Henry Cavill because I feel like this guy is constantly jerked around by studios, and it feels like he's jerked around because he's just a good dude and he's not part of the good old boys club. Like, he's willing to just say no when he feels somebody is wrong about something. And he's actually usually right about it. Like, he has a pretty good feel for the characters. Whenever you hear him talk about a property, he seems to have a pretty good grasp. He wants to be faithful to the characters and the continuity and all that. And so I think a lot of these goofballs in Hollywood and the industry that they like to deconstruct everything, he's an obstacle to what they want to do. So they're like, Henry's a problem. And so he gets jerked around. HVK, thanks for tuning in. I don't know if you saw my last live stream, but I mentioned the podcast interview that you did with me. So for those of you that don't know, if you're tuning in right now, HVK did an interview with me and his buddy V. It's on Spotify. I think it's on Podbean as well. You can find it in my Twitter feed. You can find it in his Twitter feed. It's like 2.5 hours talking about all sorts of stuff. Check it out. He was a great interviewer. I was very impressed. And he said that was his first one. with just another creator or whatnot. So I was very impressed, and check it out if you get a chance. Let's see. So yeah, James Gunn comes in. I thought this was very interesting. He goes, one of the things Peter and I were aware of when we took the job as heads of DC Studios was a certain minority of people online that could be, uproarious and unkind, to say the least. Our choices for the DCU are based upon what we believe is best for the story and best for DC characters who have been around for nearly 85 years. Perhaps these choices are great, perhaps not, but they are made with sincere hearts and integrity and always with the story in mind. Now, here's the thing. If you look at his first tweet in this chain, the first tweet was completely unnecessary and it was divisive and alienating to a bunch of people. There was no reason to do that other than to essentially send out the I'm a good guy signal to people that don't like the Snyderverse or whatever, all this sort of stuff. So he's acting as if he wants to be a bridge builder while simultaneously burning bridges. It doesn't really work that way. You're going out of your way to talk about the minority of people online that could be, uproarious and unkind, to say the least. Why would you say that? All you need to say is that, hey, listen, I know that what we are going to do is going to be upsetting to people, but bear with me because I promise you that I have a love for DC and its decades of history and lore and all of this. And I promise you that I am going to do my best to win all DC fans or whatever, readers and moviegoers, all of you over. I will do my best to be a unifying force for the DCU. That's all you had to say. And then ignore, like, if people are getting mad, and just be like, I already told them, give me a shot. You'll see when the movies come out that I had a plan and I'm following a plan and I want the best for everybody involved or something along those lines. But to me, it's a heavy lift because Henry Cavill is a handsome dude. He's a great actor. He loves the characters and a lot of people love him. And as I said before, even if you didn't like the scripts, and you didn't like, Superman killing and all of this sort of stuff or whatever, like, there are a lot of people out there that absolutely love him as that character and believe that if you just gave them the right script that they would forget, the movies that they don't like or whatever. I don't know. Or you reboot it, but you still have him as Superman, whatever. I just feel like he's such a talent that to just let him slip through your fingers is really bizarre, especially when so many people love him. Very odd. So anyway, James Gunn, this guy, he's kind of slimy to me. He's always been a little slimy. Doesn't pass the sniff test to me. And yeah. So here's one other thing. I wasn't going to bring this up, but I guess I will. I read this right before we came on. So now The Rock has weighed in on this. And James is like, love The Rock. I'm always excited to see what he and $7 do next. Can't wait to collaborate soon. Okay, so the Black Adam, everyone knows that there's a controversy, blah, 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 thrown under the bus. Listen to The Rock's. There's a moment where he totally takes, I believe, a passive-aggressive dig at James Gunn. So they're being all nicey nice in public, but it's not really nicey nice. So here we go. My passionate friends, I wanted to give you a long-awaited Black Adam update regarding the character's future in the new DC universe. James Gunn and I connected, and Black Adam will not be in their first chapter of storytelling. However, DC and $7 have agreed to continue exploring the most valuable ways Black Adam can be utilized in future DC multiverse chapters. That really means nothing. That's just like, hey, will you keep the door open? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we got it. Okay, let's play nice in public. He doesn't want to burn the bridge. He's going to say all the right things to all the right people. And, he's going to like not have any smudges on his shirt. So he's going to take the high road, but he's really ticked off. James and I have known each other for years and have always rooted for each other to succeed. It's no different now, and I will always root for DC and Marvel to win and win big. All right, so now he's throwing out to Marvel, like, hey, Marvel, do you need me anything? I'm rooting for you too. I'm rooting for you. They don't want me in the near future. So, hey, Marvel, Kevin Feige, whatever. You guys know me, and I have a very thick skin, and you can always count on me to be direct with my words. That's not true. That is not true. The Rock is not always direct, and he is oftentimes very passive aggressive. And if you remember when he threw Joe Rogan under the bus, when they were trying to basically demolish Joe Rogan's career, and he was like, oh, I didn't know that Joe Rogan said those words, the word that shall not be mentioned. And now that I have brought better context, of Joe Rogan and who he is and blah, 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 blah. Essentially throwing Joe Rogan under the bus. Okay, dude. Okay, so here he goes. These decisions made by James and DC leadership. See, he wants to put, he's making sure everyone knows this is James and DC leadership. They're the ones. You want to be mad at them. Represent their vision of DCU through their creative lens. After 15 years of relentless hard work, this is where he's getting his digs in right here. He's letting everyone know, I worked on this thing for 15 years, relentlessly to get it to the screen, and now they are getting rid of me. They're throwing me under the bus. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. After 15 years of relentless hard work to finally make Black Adam, I'm very proud of the film we delivered for fans worldwide. I'm a global superstar. Damn it. I'm The Rock. Do you smell what The Rock is cooking? It's pissed off feelings. I'm pissed. All right. I will always look back on the fan reaction. See, I'm about you, the fans. The Rock is about to Black Adam with tremendous gratitude, humility, and love. We did great. See, now contrast that with these decisions made by James and DC leadership. Contrast that with we, The Rock, and the fans did great. To my very passionate and vocal Black Adam superhero genre fans, I love you. Thank you. And I will always listen to you. Now, you got to put this within the proper context. James Gunn is being excoriated by people for not listening to the fans. So The Rock, while pretending to be nice, is twisting the knife in James Gunn's, well, he's doing it kind of to his face, but not his back, not his face. It's more like off to the side in his ribs. He found that like place, there's like a right underneath like your lowest rib or something like that, whatever. Like there's like a little space down there. He jammed it in there and he upward little thrust of the knife and he's twisting it around because he's got the all caps there. He's like, and I will always listen to you and do my best and deliver and entertain you the fans. What a hell of a month. Now we all need some Terramana. No offense to The Rock, but I'm getting tired of his Terramana stuff and all this sort. Like, okay, dude, I know you got your tequila and all of that, but it seems a little played out to me. All right. Have a productive week and happy holidays to you and your families. Dwayne Johnson. All right. So like I said, this whole thing, he said in the previous thing that he's always direct with his words. You're not always direct, Dwayne. There's plenty of subtext going on. If you read between the lines, it's clear that you are not happy with James Gunn in the least. You're smiling, but behind the mask, the Dwayne Johnson, the Rock character, or whatever you want, the Black Adam mask is a man who is pissed off because, again, quote, after 15 years of relentless hard work to finally make Black Adam, this was taken away from him. So now he's hoping James Gunn fails. He says, I'm always rooting for you. No, he's not. He's not rooting for he's rooting for him to, yeah, he's rooting for him to fail, because if James Gunn bombs in his first outing with this Superman, where it's just him at the newspaper Metropolis out of the blue, it's not an origin story. It's just, you know, Clark at the newspaper. Now, here's the other thing. I will make a prediction right now. Is it even really a prediction if you know that this is going to happen? So, if he's doing the story of Clark at the newspaper, I would say there is a very high probability that there is some, like, Lex Luthor is some sort of Elon Musk type character. There's some sort of free speech element, but it's like Elon Musk, Elon Luthor sort of situation. And then, you know, Clark is essentially going to be essentially some sort of New York Times-ish figure. And so it's all going to work itself. There's going to be allegories to the Washington Post, the New York Times, and then Clark is essentially like the liberal guy who has to stand up to the Elon Musk type figure that they're going to find a way to like work it in there. It might not be like completely on the nose, but for anybody that is like in the know, and James Gunn in many ways is activist I don't even want to say activist he is an activist. So it'll be like, okay, I'm going to try and be smart, but you're going to be too smart by half. And people will be like, oh, here we go. So Clark Kent is really just a liberal reporter for the New York Times, essentially. This is what we're going to do. Anyway, The Rock, again, he wants James Gunn to fail. He's rooting for failure, because the faster that James Gunn fails, the faster that DC might flip again and be like, hey, we made a mistake. Black Adam, let's figure out a way to get you and Henry Cavill back. And, you know, we had our little escape hatch. We were like, oh, the only reason why we don't have Henry Cavill is because this story takes place when Clark is a young man and Henry is older. So they can do that. Then it could fail. And then they could like grovel back to The Rock and Henry Cavill and be like, we were wrong, guys. Can you forgive us? Can you sign a contract and it'll make everybody happy again because we failed. So that's the reality in Dwayne's mind. He's like, all right, there's got to be a way we can get this back again. I gave 15 years of my life to this, and I will be damned if I'm just gonna like let it go. And so he will always be angling here and there behind the scenes. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. Tagi is here. Thanks for tuning in. Ethereal Dragon is here. I think I got 30 minutes into EFWM, a remake, before giving up. Let's see. Remember the terrible Escape from Witch Mountain remake. Ethereal Dragon. Unless Cavill gets full control, I don't see Cavill coming back. Yeah, I mean, he's on his, what is it, like Warhammer 40K. I'm not into all that sort of stuff. I don't know, but who knows? But if DC and Warner Brothers and all them or whatever, they failed hard enough, maybe they would give him full control. I don't know, but we'll see. I just like the James Gunn Rock stuff where they're all like, hey, I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you. $7. Yeah. All this sort of stuff. But really, if you actually dissect what's going on right there, these are two guys that are just like, oh, I don't like you. And like The Rock's like, do you understand? I could squish you. I could put you between my biceps and I could squish your head like you were a zit. James Gunn. And then James Gunn's like, you can't do anything to me because I'm a made man and I do whatever, like I'm an activist in Hollywood and I say all the right things and I got power or something along those lines. I don't know. It's like, you can't touch me, Rock. And so there's just this like tension between them where like, ooh, they smile. And then as soon as they turn away from each other, like if you saw the camera as they both like where they're at the black tie event and they're sipping martinis or something like that. And then they turn away from each other with their respective dates or wives or whatever. And then you could just see their face. They like give their wife a look like, oh, I can't stand that guy. Oh, that guy. He took Black Adam away from me. So that's what's going on there. Let's see. I haven't covered the Hollywood stuff in a while, so I guess I'm having fun with that tonight. Let's see. And then finally, the only other thing is this ridiculous. I haven't been getting too much into the politics lately, but here's the thing. I wake up this morning and Patreon lets me know, hey, you're making $600. We got this form. We got to make sure you know, like I always pay my taxes anyway. Like, in fact, I go out of my way to do things because I am paranoid about the IRS coming after me. But saying, you know, it's like, oh, in the past, you know, people can make $20,000. And that's when the IRS started to kind of care what's going on. But now it's like $600. So that ticked me off because I got a handful of people that like Soulfinder comics, like they're patrons. They've been patrons since I started on YouTube years ago. There's not even like there's like 8 people. They're just like, and basically Patreon for me, I try and give people more than they put in. So in terms of giving people free books and Doug prizes and all this sort of stuff, it's really just a reward for people that have believed in me since the beginning. Like I don't need Patreon money at all. It's really just like a secret, you know, pseudo secret thing where it's like, yeah, these people, they like, you know, people give me like $12 a year or whatever, and then like they end up getting free Saddle Stitch books and Doug prizes and C.S. Lewis and whatever. Like, I don't know. Anyway, so the fact that like the IRS essentially is like, hey, uh, it would be a shame if something bad happened to you if you didn't report your $600, Doug. It's kind of frustrating when you have these guys doing like, what is it, like $1.7 trillion bills where, what was it, like $50 billion out of, they've already given Ukraine something like $75 billion already. I forgot the exact amount, but it's like, now we need another $50 billion for war in Ukraine. So it's like these guys are giving American taxpayer dollars that we don't even have because we're already in so much debt. They're just printing money out of thin air, tens of billions of dollars to give to Ukraine. And then they're like, hey, but if you make $600 from people that like your comic books, like, hey, maybe we'll come after you. So these people are all kind of scumbags. And I don't usually like to, you know, go there, and it's kind of, you know, you're name calling someone like Mitch McConnell a scumbag, but you're kind of a scumbag. You really kind of are. You claim to be for the American people. Like, what is the difference between the Democrats and Republicans when this guy is saying like the number one top priority for Republicans is Ukraine? Really, dude? It really? I don't think it is. I think a lot of people care about inflation here at home. I think a lot of people care about employment situations. I think a lot of people care about the economy here at home. I think a lot of people care about U.S. borders, not Ukraine borders. And if you're literally giving countries tens of billions of dollars for war, you are in war. You may not have declared war, but you are in a war with another country, i.e., Russia. Like, if Russia were to be like, yeah, US has declared war on us, they're literally giving tens of billions of dollars. They're and weapons and all sorts of stuff. Like, how can you not say that you're at war with Russia right now? You are. Like, what? All these people, they were like for years, they were like, Donald Trump is going to go to war with Russia. All this sort of stuff. And then Joe Biden comes in, and as soon as like the disaster pullout in Afghanistan happened, you blink your eyes, and they're giving tens of billions of dollars to Ukraine for war. They're addicted to war. But why are they addicted to war? Because it's so shady. There is so much stuff. It's like, hey, we're going to send lots of money over there. And then it comes back to us in terms of our investment portfolios in defense contractors and all of this stuff. Hey, I'm making millions of dollars. Hey, foreign countries are inviting me over. I'm lavish places, and I'm meeting people and making deals. And my kids are suddenly on the boards of energy giants. They don't do anything. My kid is just, unfortunately, a crackhead who does Russian prostitutes, and he's making millions of dollars on the board of an energy company. Yay! And then there's a laptop, and all of it is out there for everyone to see. And if your name was Hunter Biden, you would be in an orange jumpsuit right now because you're smoking crack and you're doing prostitutes and you're selling out access to your dad and America's secrets for, generational wealth for the Biden family because you're all corrupt. Yay. Nobody says anything. Like, what? The founding fathers would be they probably are. They're rolling over in their graves right now. They're like, dude, hey, when a long train of abuses, yada, 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 I can't even say the things that I want to say because the alphabet agencies would be coming to my house if I said how bad things are. I can't believe the American people are putting up with this. This is ridiculous. It is so corrupt. It's not even funny. All of these people are corrupt. Mitch McConnell, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer. There's really no difference at the top leadership levels between the Democrats and Republicans. They're all just a bunch of corrupt psychopaths, sociopaths. They only care about power and money and influence. That's all they care about. It's all kabuki theater. That's why you get people like Mitch McConnell and these guys pumping up bills that are filled with things that are destructive to the American people and the American way of life. Truth, justice, and the American way. These people are bad people. They're not good. People want to make fun of Donald Trump and the swamp and all. Donald Trump, you can hate him all. You could hate his delivery all you want. He definitely has his flaws, but he is 100% right about quote unquote the swamp. These are all swamp creatures. NeoStar Productions. Who needs the mafia when you have politicians? Yeah, it's essentially the mafia. It's the legalized mafia. If you don't do what they want, they can send men with guns to your house. Over the stupidest things, you could look at, there's plenty of news stories over tiny little things where they send agents to people's house, armed agents for the littlest things. And these people, they do stuff out in the open. It's like they don't even care anymore because they know nothing's going to happen to them because in the highest echelons of the U.S. government, there's enough corrupt people across the board in all of the agencies. They all know the deal. It's like, hey, you let me do my corrupt stuff, and I'm going to turn a blind eye to your corrupt stuff. Okay, this is the game. We all made it into the inner circle. We're all a bunch of corrupt psychopaths, and we're all going to protect each other, right? We might fight. We might go on Meet the Press and pretend like we hate each other. And then when we're in the back rooms, we're smoking cigars together. And we're like, hey, did you see that so-and-so, defense contractor? They got that contract? Dude, my retirement fund's looking good. That's what they do. They're all corrupt. They're psychos. I gotta laugh. It's like you gotta laugh so you don't cry. These people, man. And I just feel bad. It's like you wonder what. One day I will just go off. I got stories about Mitch McConnell's. I gotta be careful here. I worked I worked with Mitch McConnell's wife years ago. She's an interesting character. We'll just put it that way. So, anyway, yeah, I got to be careful. But yeah, I don't, all of these, the swamp is very real. Donald Trump was 100% right. There is a swamp, and the Democrats and Republicans, the quote unquote elites in both parties, they kind of sort of hate everyday Americans. They have a disdain for all of us. They sneer at us. They look down at us. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. He's all dressed up in his probably his Brooks Brothers suit and tie and all this sort of stuff. If you're a Republican, is this the guy is this the guy that's going to save the nation from Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi? Do you really think this guy cares about you? No, he doesn't. Don't donate to Democrats. Don't donate to Republicans. Find a local charity that you know where the money goes, that helps people, that truly helps people, and truly helps your locality, and donate to them. Do not give money to this guy so he could be eating foie gras at a black tie event with his dumb friends, Democrats and Republicans, as they continue to screw you over. These people, I keep saying that, but I'm trying to rein it in. A lot of the times I'm trying to self-censor myself and trying to control my anger, because in a different world, in a world where I did not believe in God, if you can convince me to be an atheist tomorrow for some weird reason, I would be a very different person. And probably the alphabet agencies would be coming for me, because how I feel about these people and their dishonesty and their corruption and what they are doing to American society and civil society, it's just downright, it's basically evil what these people are doing. And it's really sad that we went from a time and a place where we had men like George Washington turning down power. They tried to make him a king, and he said, no, we just fought to not have that sort of thing. Not doing it, giving power to the people. And then you go to, then fast forward in time, Mitch, this guy right here. Ugh. Gross. All right, but let's end on a positive note. Or two. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Speaking of positive notes, Timothy Lim, Mark Pellegrini, they're already working on 2024 stuff. So I was down in Alabama with Tim recently, and I was in the car with Tim and Mark many hours. I got to see once again the creative process in play with those guys, bouncing story ideas off each other back and forth, and like, hey, what do you about to think about this? What do you about to think about that? Boom, boom. I think this is the blah, 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 constantly brimming with ideas. So 2023 is like, basically they got that in the books. And now they're on 2024. These guys, it's like Captain America. Tim was joking around that Falcon is actually Mark Pellegrini. But to me, it could be Mark, it could be me, it could be all sorts of people, because these guys are just so efficient at what they're doing. They're just running laps. They're an inspiration. We'll just put it that way. I was telling somebody else, it's like you go to the gym and you become friends with the guy who clearly knows what he's doing, and you listen and you humble yourself and take notes and you work hard. You're gonna make gains. So thank you, Tim, and thank you, Mark, for letting me just into your life and being able to see how you guys work and what you're doing, because it just makes me work harder, and it makes me a better writer, and it makes me a better creator. And I can't wait until you guys see what's going on for 2024 or 2023. Matt Weldon is doing some insanely cool stuff, and I don't know, it's going to be a good time. So Anyway, like I said at the start of this live stream, if you're just turning in now, the hardcovers, they are paid for. They're essentially done. The gilding was put on today. And I think they're going to be done probably tomorrow or Friday for sure. And then I'm supposed to get some books overnight shipped to me. So I'm hoping I get books either on Friday if they finish tomorrow or Christmas Eve. We'll see. And then before I leave to Montana, then I could maybe ship a book to somebody as a Doug prize. Be a surprise, obviously. Let's see. And boom, I think this is a good way to we're close to closing out here. Let's see. Tom, thanks for tuning in, man. I appreciate it. I think I saw you earlier. Dang, long time no see, Doug. Long time no see. Yeah, this is my first night stream in a little while. I've been doing them during the day around noon-ish my time on the West Coast. But I'm going to be traveling, so I was like, hey, let's knock out another one. We got good news with the hardcover. Let's knock it out. Let's see. Tom says they've done very well creating never-ending black budgets, and the only work they seem to do is moving fungible money from your account to their account. We're talking about politicians again. Let's see. Neostar Productions. Man, I'd give my whole left foot for even half of Tim and Mark's productivity. Yeah, man. They're 3 books a year and a lot of artwork and all sorts of stuff. Indie Wrestling Aces. Hey, what's up, man? Edwin the Ace Acevedo. Edwin's been a cool dude for years. I know he's coming out with volume 3 of the Ace in the somewhat near future. I think the sign-up sheet is on Indiegogo, if I'm not mistaken. You could correct me if I'm wrong. So yeah, what's up, man? Indie Wrestling Aces. Appreciate it. Another person who has been super cool towards me for many years. And we'll just say there's the indie comics roller coaster, but he has always been consistent and he has always been cool, and I appreciate it. And when the Ace Volume 3 comes out, you could count on me. I'm gonna back it. I like your books anyway. You're a reliable creator, and you're a cool dude. And so yeah, thanks for all those things put together equals me backing your books. And there's a lot of people that don't get basic professionalism. I backed their books years ago. I'm not backing them anymore, but I will back the Ace. So it's really funny. Every once in a while, there's people, they think that I don't see them bashing me all over the internet in certain places. And then they will privately be like, hey, man, I got a book coming out. Blah, 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 blah. And I want to just be like, dude, I saw you bashing me. Why would I back your book? Or like, I get like an email saying like, hey, here's my mailing list for my new book. Would you like to back it? And then I see the guy and I'm like, I saw you literally bashing me on YouTube in the comments section of so-and-so's videos. No, I'm not going to back your book anymore, ever again. Sorry. Maybe actually if they apologize and they were contrite, but they're not going to do that. They almost never do that. Anyway, I don't need to worry about that with Indie Wrestling Aces. He's always been really cool towards me. He's always been up front. And if he's ever had questions for me, he's asked me, and I've had no problem answering his questions. So, yeah, definitely backing the Ace Volume 3 when it comes out, because he knows how to act like a mature adult, unlike a lot of people. Let's see. Says Indie Wrestling Aces. Thanks, Doug. Congrats on all your success. Thanks, man. Let's see. Tom, when the time comes, I hope you all will give my book a chance. Look for Shepherds. Yeah, just keep me updated. I'll check it out. If you see me on a stream, you have my permission. I mean, people do it anyway. But one of the things that I absolutely hate historically with my streams, there was a couple people that they would just shamelessly like try and turn the chat in my live streams into stuff about their books. I think it is the most disrespectful thing ever, where it's like you never show up in somebody's stream unless you are trying to hijack their stuff either on Twitter or on YouTube and make it about you. Like, hey, my book, Fuzzy Wuzzles, is coming out. Back it today. It's like, oh, I've never seen you before. You never talked to me, but suddenly Fuzzy Wuzzles is coming out and you want to turn my chat that we're talking about Soulfinder into Fuzzy Wuzzles. Get out of here, dude. You suck. These are the things that go through my head, but I don't really like always say them. Anyway, Thomas, when Shepherds comes out, let people know in the comments section. Indie Wrestling Aces, when the Ace Volume 3 comes out, let people know in the comments section. You, of all people, you two, go for it. Perfectly happy. You've always been cool. You're not going around the internet talking smack about me without ever talking to me like a mature adult. So yeah, as long as people are cool and act like normal human beings with me, then I'm cool with them. But if people want to be dumb, want to play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. But these guys have been cool. Neo Star Productions, you've been cool. You know, let's see. So you got a book, let people know. Let's see, Neo Star Productions. I'm already hyped for Antarctic X Iconic. That's the kind of indie comic crossover event I was dreaming of. Even if I'm not a part of it, I'm still honored to see it happen. Yeah, I can't wait until that comes out. I think people are going to dig what Mark and Tim came up with. So let's see. I think that's about it. We've been going for over an hour. It's like an hour and 11 minutes here. Thanks for tuning in. Keep an eye out on my Twitter feed. Keep an eye out on Instagram. Keep an eye out on here. As soon as the hardcovers are ready, they're down in Texas, I will give them the green light to get that up right away. I'll be tweeting about it. I'll probably be streaming about it. So yeah, appreciate everyone who's tuned in tonight. Appreciate all the long-term support. I will continue to do my best to put out books that are both with solid writing, solid art, and I will lower the price point as much as possible so it's easy on your wallets in times of economic uncertainty. And we're going to get it up on Iconic. You don't need to wait months or years or any of that kind of stuff. I want you to be able to get your books right away. So yeah, again, thanks for everything. I'll talk to you guys later. And see ya. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. All right, see ya.